morning, church. So when I was listening or watching the profile, I was asking, okay, who did this? When I'm going, please, I need a copy of it. I have a new, but that's an amazing profile. I didn't even realize it was mine initially when I saw it. Thank you so much. First of all, I would like to apologize for coming late. Some days are hard. I was telling Mr. Jack, I said, first of all, I don't like to disappoint pastors. And secondly, that's Pastor Victor Ekini. And I told him, I said, from way back, if not, I would have rather been in my bed this morning. Please, can we sit? Wow. So I'm going to try to be quick. And I think I sent a slide. If we have it, I would appreciate if we can have it. It's going to make the conversation fast, easy, and interactive. Thank you. So my name is Beauty, and I'm an entrepreneur. Usually, I'll tell people, today we want to talk about scaling. Now, I know there was a lot on the topic, scaling, growing, but I had to just stick to scaling and growing, and I'm going to explain why. You know, usually I'll tell people, before we talk about skill, it means that there's something first, because there has to be a background. Unfortunately and sadly, I missed Mr. Jack's session, and I think I probably would have missed Pastor Victor's session, so I need a replay. But then, as the Spirit leads, I'm sure that at the end of the day, the conversations would find a meeting point. When we talk about scaling, it means that there's something we are scaling. There's somewhere we're coming from. So now I'm going to move. You know, when it comes to business, when it comes to entrepreneurship, I'm glad that I'm seeing 98% young people like myself. First of all, forget that profile. I'll be 28 next week, Friday. Yeah, so that it doesn't look like I'm from another generation. Next week, Friday, April 4th is my birthday. I'll be 28. So it's we. We're having this conversation as in, this is us. So the reality is sometimes when we see things like this happening, we feel like only big people, only people who are older. The reality is, yes, experience and all of these things comes with time. Nevertheless, I think the world has changed. And whether you like it or not, I like to brag. I tell people that when it comes to real estate in Port Harcourt, you can't count 5 without mentioning Velox. And myself and my husband were 2 young people who have built this through the last 4 years, aside from the many other things we do. So people always want to ask, how did you get here? How did you scale? Where did you start from? Usually, when I have sessions like this, I like to go through stories because it's more realistic compared to when we're speaking, oh, you have to inspire to perspire, you have to wake up in the night, you have to read for 10 hours. Yes, all of those things are there. But we're in a country where the reality is not even realistic because you wake up and you're planning with Nigeria, and tomorrow, one thing just happens and it changed. Last week, I was having a conversation with a friend, and I said something. We're in River State. You don't need anybody to tell you what's currently happening. And the truth is, where we are, the climate we are, it won't make life easier for you. Whether you like it or not, business will not become easy. It's not going to be, nobody will give you a glass plate and tell you that, oh, just take this a walk in the park. Even if you have sponsors, you have resources, there would still be challenges. I'm coming from, we're running a real estate business, and if you have a glimpse, the battles involved in real estate business in this state, sometimes you'll see, I think yesterday I sat with my husband and we're navigating a lot of challenges we faced recently. We're doing some restructuring. And at some point, we were getting angry at some of the challenges. We're just talking. He was lamenting, I was lamenting because we've been stressed. I got back into Nigeria on the 1st of April. I resumed work on the 3rd of April. My baby was barely 2 months old. I had to resume because I'd been away for 4 months, in as much as a structure. There are things, okay, I said something, somewhere in my slide, but I'll start with that. You cannot outsource your growth phase. You know, we're in a society where I'm an advocate for structure. When it comes to business structure, when you work, I don't think if you've been to my company in the last 1 year, you probably may never meet me. Because there's a lot of structure, but there's something called growth that you cannot outsource. no matter the structure you set, no matter the amount of staff you have, even if you have 20 people, 100 people who you're paying salary, there's a level of your growth that cannot be outsourced. Why? When it comes to your dream and your idea, nobody can interpret it better than you. You can only explain it. You can only call your team members and tell them this is the dream. But there's a way when it comes to implementation of dream. Sometimes, always, I don't say sometimes, you have to be at the forefront. You know, there used to be a time when they'll tell you, oh, if you want to be a big CEO, if you want to grow in business, you don't have to show up every day. But now, a few months ago, there was a post on social media, somebody said Dangote is now hawking fuel. Dangote put his fuel in a plastic container, and he came on Twitter, and he was like, compare it, this is transparent. And somebody was like, this is Dangote, like, you know, like, and you're wondering, why is he doing that? The reality is we have come to the part of the world or the season in life where if you don't show up, someone else who doesn't know it as good as you will take up your market space. So that's why, you know, especially as believers, I say it all the time. You see believers, they are complaining, things are not coming to the church or things are happening. And I tell you, you're not showing up. So my husband used to say something. He would say, what's it called? You need money for the gospel. That's the way he says it. But in summary, it's more like this church, as it is, cannot function without money. You're here today, we're looking good because you have money to afford the basic things you need. And we have gotten to a point where believers feel like, okay, when it comes to this business thing, I should just be at a certain level. I can't fight. Yes. The truth is there are things that are happening in the world that when you find out, sometimes you want to take a step back. But the question you want to ask yourself is, how long are we going to keep being at the back? So at the end of the day, you need to be a voice wherever you are in your industry. So you want to scale. Velox wants to scale. Let me use what I'm doing. And I'm saying, oh, the other real estate companies in Port Harcourt, they are not doing this, they are not doing this, they are not doing this. Or I want to come first and say, oh, because I'm a believer, you should give me this. No. You don't collect things like that. You have to show up and show out. So let's talk about scaling. You started it. Everybody knows that you started your business. You know, in the first 1 year of business, it's easier to get your family and your friends. Everybody will rally around you. Everybody wants to support. My sister just started. She's the owner of that company. It will get to a phase, most times 1 year, 6 months, where everybody begins to mind their business. And that is when reality dawns on you that you need to now begin to ask yourself questions. Questions like, what am I doing this for? Am I building for sustainability or am I building for, as young people will say, vibes and inshallah? You know, these days, because there's a lot of glamour. You know, I'm going to get there. There's something I call perception marketing. I'll talk about it. There's a lot of glamour. You see, we're in the world where people want to make money quick. I want it now. It might come, but do you have what it takes to sustain it? So it's not about scaling. Part of the question you want to ask yourself is, I want to scale. What does it mean to scale? Okay, in simple terms, usually I'll say scaling is expanding whatever you have and doing that to sustain success. So you have something. Good. Now, if you've heard me speak anywhere, especially in church, there's something I would always say. I'm sure you've heard that scripture 1,001 times. I like to use it to give every example irrespective of the topic. Seest thou a man diligent in his business? He shall stand before kings and not mean man. Now, see it. That's what you have currently. Everybody can see you started, you know, there's always that excitement. Maybe I'm sewing, I'm making hair, I'm selling dresses. For example, this dress got to my house at 8:40 something p.m. last night. It was made yesterday. They didn't take my measurement. I just saw it online. I was like, okay, what will I even wear tomorrow? I had a plan. I just liked it. I said, can you deliver it today? And she said, yes. Now, if you come after this event to pitch that you're a fashion designer, you might be making the world best dresses, but my go-to person will be this person who could deliver for me when? For her to deliver that, it means she has scaled. So it's not enough to have it. So that's seen. Everybody has seen you. Now, this is where we come to diligent. So that's the point of deciding to scale. Wow. You want to scale. You want to grow from what you're doing. You don't want to do... you'll see some funny posts these days on Twitter. I say, if you see me talking to myself on the road, I'm having staff meeting. It's okay. It's okay to start from there. But if you want to build for long term, you must be willing to scale. You must be willing to grow. I and my husband were out of the country for 4 months, and the business was, you would not even know, if you don't know me or you don't see me post, you will not know I was out of, you wouldn't know we're out. Imagine the both of us, head of the business, we're out. And in fact, those months were one of the best months. Yesterday we were having a staff meeting, I was telling people, we said, February has been, March has been a tough month. I was like, are you sure we would not have stayed back? Because it seemed like the team was doing better. And this is what it means to scale. And I sat there and I said, it means that we have gotten to a point where even if I'm not here today, usually we like to build, especially in this part of the world. 90% of the people or the businesses people are building, they are not sustained. If anything happens to Okeke and Sons is gone. And a lot of us young people, we do not realize that this is a problem. You see, the Chinese businesses, I think one of the places I said that is on my travel list for this year and latest by the end of next year is China. You see the Chinese businesses, you're seeing, I was doing a research, you're seeing a business that's 100-year-old, 50-year-old, but let's leave them. Let's even come. How many Nigerian businesses currently has scaled 50? Even 20, sometimes you see, and then you're asking yourself, now the truth is there are challenges. We're starting here, we're young people, sometimes we're building, we're trying. I am not saying don't try, don't expand, don't try other things. I've done a lot of things. There used to be a time in Port Harcourt, people knew me as a tire girl. Tire had to transition. At some point I stand and I ask myself is, how long? Now, tire nature is beautiful. There's an amazing story around it. I'm preaching eco-friendly this, I'm preaching sustainability. So I sat down to ask myself is, in the next 5 years, would beauty still be going trash to trash, packing tires on her head? Is this the life I want? And the answer was straight up, no. I knew that it had to transcend. So someone brought a job for interior, and I said, okay, it means that people are seeing a part of this that I'm not seeing. I went back to skill. I went to school, not necessarily university, to an interior design class. I learned. I expanded and did furniture. And then I started doing furniture. Furniture was stressing me. I knew that if I continue doing this thing, I would die young. There was a period, I was admitted in UPTH. I had one long name, the name of that sickness that they called. I can't even pronounce it. And it was telling bad on my health. I sat down. I said, do I want to leave this here or do I want to scale it? If I want to succeed and make good money, the truth is, when we talk about money, we're not talking about, you might see 10 million right now and it looks like it's big money. I have a mentor that when I was an intern, he used to say something. He said, Beauty, you think you've seen money? Because then I used to, please forgive me. I wasn't feeling well. I was at the hospital trial yesterday, but I came because of you people. And he said something. He said, I used to hold his ATM card. And then I would see, like I was his assistant. When you're an EA, there's the kind of money you see in your boss's account. You're like, one day, sir, so there's 30 million in this account. And you give me the card. Are you not scared that I'll run away? He said, first, there's trust. I'm not scared. And then he said something. He said, you think this money is money? But I've written about this before. I said, money na visitor. And people will think that it's just joke. Has there been a time where you saw 100,000? There was a season where you saw 100,000 and it looked like God had answered all your prayer in this world. And then you saw 1 million, 2 million, 5 million. Please move my slide. There's somewhere on my slide, and it says, big man, big trouble. But I'm going to come to that. Now, I want to say something. It's a quote that I heard yesterday. I had to go rework my slide. It says, road way good, then they pass on 2 times. That's what scaling is in pidgin. Because if you go through a route, and you see that this route I'm going through is good, there's a chance that you would want to go through there over and over again. So, sometimes we look at this pidgin thing. I think it was random. Sometimes when you're doing it, my husband was on a call, and he was talking to a colleague. They were arguing about something, and then he said, but this conversation is not necessary. You know, saying road way good, it means say that they pass on 2 times. And I immediately looked at it and I added it to scaling. Now, you want to do a business. If you want to scale, I talked about this dress I'm wearing. The only reason I will reach out to this person to patronize a second time is because it's good. So this is a road. It means that I will go back over and over again. That's what scaling means. So for you to scale, you have to be prepared that the moment I decide to move from this level to the next level, it means challenges will double. Wow. It means I have to deliver double the results. So you're saying, oh, sales are not coming. I'm making just 500,000 or 1 million every month, but this. And then people begin to give you order. If I give you an order of 10 million, can you deliver? You know, sometimes you think you're prepared. You think that it's about money. That's money that somebody gives you. Your next big order might just be, oh, this business I'm doing. Mr. Jack sells, Mr. Jack, what's that thing I said I wanted to buy from you now? Solar. I know he used to do many other things before. And now he sells solar. And when I started seeing it on his status, I had other people. In fact, before then, we just did a solar of about 15 kVA in my office. And I was telling him, I said, okay, don't worry. I'll buy for my mom. And he has been following me. And now, let's assume a deal comes of 200 million. Like, you're not pitching for it. Somebody just comes and says, this thing you've been posting on your status. There's one government contract I just saw. Can you deliver? You know, sometimes we begin to shake. Now, it's not wrong. It's okay. I turned down a deal about a week ago. And it was because I knew I did not have the capacity. So sometimes, you don't rush into every opportunity. You have to scale and wait. Because a lot of times, we see opportunities, and as young people, we want to jump on them. Just imagine that. They said they will pay me. That deal was big. I was in my kitchen when I got the email. And I looked at this. It's a Lagos brand that want me to do an interior. I checked. The immediate response was to take it up. But then I sat down, I opened the document, I looked at the design they wanted, I looked at the delivery timeline. They said they wanted this in, I think it was 6 weeks. I checked the budget. And I asked myself, I said, can you do this, beauty? I would have jumped on it. It's an amazing opportunity, but I had not scaled. Currently, I'm still on leave. I'm restructuring my team. I might take it up, and it looks like a big deal. Do you know what will happen at the end? The deal might become a mess, and that ends that road for me. They'll probably never refer you, or they'll go online to drag you. And somebody will say me, you know, in Nigeria, they'll tell you that just wait until it happens to you. And then tomorrow, I can bet if you see them dragging me online, some of you will go under the comment and comment. We are not loyal to, there's something, somebody said the average Nigerian is loyal to money or information, especially in this world where we don't do research. You just see them dragging somebody and you're there. But the truth is, the person would have taken the opportunity to think. So we're talking about scaling. Hard work alone is not enough. So you feel like you're working hard. I'm doing this. I will stay in the morning. I'm sewing from morning till night. While I'm sewing, I'm posting on social media. I'm doing this and it's okay. It's okay to work hard. But for you to scale, you need to realize that hard work is not enough. That's your hard work. There has to be a plan. For example, last year we moved from where we were. We needed to scale the business because at some point I realized that, it seemed like we're having more than enough clients. Please, is it possible to help me turn this away? Thank you. You know, sometimes we feel like it's working hard. Working hard is good, it's amazing because that's like the start point. But you want to be able to deliver 70 of this dress in one day. It's not your hard work. Can you sew 70 yourself? I'm asking. So scaling, I had written, I said scaling means making more money and growing your business without working yourself to death. So you want to scale, I want to be able to take 100 orders. I want to sew all the 100 myself. I want to own all the profits. You won't scale. You're going to just keep working hard, which is not bad. You know, hard work is very important. But for you to scale, you want to now ask yourself is, after this hard work, what next? Then you're now thinking, if I want to scale, so I don't know why I keep using this lady yesterday, maybe because she just impressed me, even if I've been buying from her. And then you're asking yourself, so the church wants to grow, for example. We want to move from here to a big auditorium that has 70 ACs, that has this. It's not just by prayer and fasting. Pastor Victor, is it by prayer and fasting? There has to first be a plan. What is the next thing? What location are we even looking at? This location we are looking at, what's the average cost of the kind of building we're looking for? If we get this building, are we doing interiors? Are we buying new chairs? Do we want to change the kind of chairs we have in the church? How much is one AC? The cheapest AC you can get now is 400,000 plus. And you want to buy 70, 400 times 70. You draw up a budget. Because in scaling, you have to plan. For example, for you to deliver 70 of this, you need to have at least 10 machines. You need to have at least 7 people sewing or 10 people sewing. So each person is sewing 10 per time, each person. And then you need to have a time. It can't just happen like magic. You must be patient enough. My pastor and our pastor, Jack, he always say, he said that thing when I was in year 2. He said, progress begets process. More like, there has to be a process to every progress. So you see people who are excelling today, you see people who have done great, and you feel like, oh, no. Well, for example, I just said, I'm 28. I said, me and beauty na mate now. What's the beauty they do? Where do you get? It's not bad, but you now want to ask yourself is, where did she start building from? Did she appear here today? Or has she been through that process of, oh, there's been bad days? I was telling you that this is a real example. Business has been bad for me for a while, and I'm like, what am I not doing wrong? Now I'm going back to the drawing table to ask myself, what are we doing? What are we not doing? What can be better? Now, in me telling you business is bad, that my business is bad might be your breakthrough. Do you understand? So you're looking at the person, this person said their business is bad, so why is it? But my business is bad, I might have a problem of 100 million now. Your problem is 1 million or 100,000. Are we together? So the reality is you must understand that there's a time and there's a season. And you must go through that season. The reality is you can decide to jump it. But when you fall, you will fall yakata. You know, as young people, most times we want to go through the process. You just feel like, this money just came. I want to start this business. You've not done research. You've not sat down to look at the industry to understand, okay, the people, you've not even looked for a mentor. How did you do this? You know, usually we used to say experience is the best teacher, not in this world. Right now, ChatGPT can even be your teacher. And then you look for people who have experienced these things. You don't have to. Experience is the best teacher does not mean you have to experience it. So you can lean or sit on the experiences of other people and thrive from there. But you know, most times we feel like we just want to go all head in. You want to scale. Oh, I just got 10 million naira. I'm buying 20 machines. Have you thought about the cost to service 20 machines? Can you buy a 50 kVA generator to power those 20 machines in case NEPA takes light? What are the environmental factors? When I started business, all this, what they call them, those people that used to come office to drop letters, they didn't know me. But now, they will come and they charge you based on the size of your business. And you see the same people who were charging me, let's say, 50,000. Okay, for example, I have mobile. Mobile is a smaller thing compared to what we do in Velo. The same people will bring 5,000 naira to mobile and say is what charge. And the same people will bring that same letter and bring 1 million naira to Velox. Same location, the difference, mobile used to be at Room Okoro area. Velox is on Eliozu. It's just one vehicle. And then you're asking yourself, how come the bills are different? It's because they have seen that this business has scaled. So it's not enough to go and say you're renting a big office. Are you willing to take up the challenges that will come with scaling? So don't just say, I want to scale. My business is not doing well. You need to sit down and draw up a realistic plan. In 2020, your scaling plan can even be 5 years. Your scaling plan can be 3 years. In 3 years, I want to be here. What do I need to do in 2025? What do I need to do? In fact, not 2025. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter. At the level where we are, that's the list where we want to be currently. And we're having a meeting. This period we've been doing we do a management review meeting, management performance review, MPR. And we're doing performance review. And I was talking to some of my staff, and we're saying, It's okay. You've not performed on this, but this is a plan for the next quarter. As I'm talking to you now, we have our marketing plan from now to December. So you can't catch us on fresh. And then somebody is saying, you're seeing Velox everywhere. Let me give you an example. You might wake up tomorrow and in the next 1 month, you're seeing that Velox has about 20 billboards across Port Harcourt. It's not coincidence. We have planned. And then you go to this location. For example, my team just announced an estate this morning. And we had a 70% idea, the reaction that would come from that announcement. Why? We had looked at it. So let me give you a reality. I run a real estate business. In real estate, one of the key issues is allocation. People buying and then you're delaying allocation. And unfortunately, it was one of the challenges we faced last year. We had a lot of estates we were selling, but because of the way last year is, a lot of cement went up, this went up, prices of bulldozers. Imagine something you used to pay for 80,000 is now 500,000 per day. So it shook us. And then we sat back and we said, okay, this is a challenge. A lot of our realtors are complaining. A lot of our clients are complaining. In the last 2 months, we've been solving that problem. I think for the last 1 month now, we've had back-to-back allocation. Today, they're having allocation. On Thursday, they had allocation. And people will be like, it's a lot financially. But guess what we did with the new property we launched today? The property is on instant allocation. Now, it might not be what people were expecting because people have known, for the last 6 months, Velox has not done. And we said, this is a problem. So before you scale to, you have to sit, look at your problem, and sometimes create solutions in steps. Wow. And now this morning they're announcing that they said, get allocated in 24 hours. I posted it on my status. While I was in the car, I had 4 people in my DM already asking, is this true? Is this real? How can I get allocated in 24 hours? And this is a solution to a problem that we have faced. And we're saying, let us use this to prove to our realtors and our clients that we value their feedbacks. That is a step to scaling. So you want to scale, you want to do bigger, you need to think, you need to constantly, it's not enough to say, people have given me feedback. You know, a lot of times as Nigeria, we like to take feedbacks, but we don't want to act on those feedbacks. It might not be comfortable, but if you're in business to please people, whether you like it or not. If you want their money, you have to be on their good books. And this means that you have to scale. So now that brings me to big man, big trouble. You know, growing up, we used to hear that a lot. You hear, big man, big trouble, big man, big problem. And yesterday, while I was going through my slide, I said something. I said, but this is true. Like, the challenge I'm facing currently, in fact, this period, if I tell you the amount of money I'm looking for, if I tell you, if we start, you won't, I was telling somebody that if I tell you my problem, that's your problem, you can't even say it to me. And then I was telling somebody, I said, this amount of money we're looking for. And while we were in all the midst of everything, we were talking how we're going to raise this amount of money. And somebody on my team just said, but truly, big man, big trouble. And we all busted out laughing. And I was like, but that's the reality. The problems we are facing. So my revenue as when we started business in 2021, currently, the revenue is higher, but guess what? The problem is bigger. So then, I'm not going to call revenue, but we're doing good revenue. You know, you see, I was talking about seeing 1 million, and you're feeling like, something is going on. And now you're seeing that 1 million. The 1 million cannot even solve 1% of your problem. So, is it that these things is dropping? No, it means that we have scaled. Yeah. And the more you scale, the more your challenges. So you need to be prepared for the challenges that will come even before you scale. You don't wait and they say, usually when we get to the bridge, we'll cross it. No. If you want to succeed in business, you can't wait to get to the bridge. You have to prepare for the bridge. So you cannot be saying, but my business, I just started last year. Now let's just be doing it. Make would they see? It's okay if your business is not going well. I tell people, I'm an advocate of pivot. I'm an advocate of if you get to that place and the turn is not looking like, the road is not looking straight again, you can curve. It's okay to wake up and decide that, I've been making dresses, I now want to enter real estate, I now want to start selling solar. It's okay. But you need to understand that there's no place that has it easy. So there's probably a chance that person you are seeing that is balling, driving 6 cars, if it tells you the cost of maintaining 6 cars, you'd rather be driving your 1 car. Last year, we had to sell one of our cars at the house. And somebody was asking me, when the price of fuel went up, we were doing 164,000 every 4 days. Fuel. Like, the car is not going out of Port Harcourt, though. Just office, church, just around that. One day I sat, I said, calculate it, though. It might look like it's small money, but when you do the math, and that's, imagine there are days we now have to go to out of town. There were other cars in the house. Then my car just came. And one day I said, let me even test. We took my car to the fuel station. We filled it for 60-something thousand. And 1 week, the fuel is still there. That car became our utility vehicle. Because why would I be spending double this amount to move around when I'm not here to impress anybody? This car, is it good? Yes. Is it fine? Can it move from A to B? Then I want to. Now, are we saying that we don't use some of those cars? Yes, but there are occasions that will call for it. So there are seasons. You must also plan that. So that's also bringing me to big man, big trouble. Do you understand? So the more you grow, the more you experience things, the more your finances increase, the more you realize that it's not easy. Thank you. But lower. It's not easy on any industry. So you're a photographer today, you want to scale. I was talking to somebody, and you have to show up. I was talking to somebody, and I said something. I was telling, what's it called? Mr. Jack this morning. I said, if not for him, I said that when I first came, I would not have left my house. Do you know why? Now, 2 years ago, I would have given an excuse why. I have a very good excuse why I won't be here today. Very good. I just had a baby. I've not gone to church. We've not done dedication. You know, in Nigeria, you're not supposed to come outside. Am I lying? Are you supposed to come outside when your baby has not gone for dedication? That's one excuse. Number two, I was in the hospital throughout yesterday. I had a reason not to show up. We had management meeting that were scheduled since January. I had every excuse to give my team, but I knew that if I did not show up for that meeting, it would demoralize a lot of people. I might explain later that I was sick, but guess what? I showed up. And they were the ones that saw me, and they're like, Mama, you're not looking good, though. Can you go? I said, don't worry. So I did the meeting, spent about 30 minutes with them, and I left back to the hospital. Now, there's a certain level of trust and belief. They know that if she says she will show up, she will show up. So for you to scale, you need to be ready for. From here, I'm going for another event. And I was thinking, yesterday, I said, well, how did I even accept? I said, in fact, Jack, I don't know what you said. Because I had every reason. This is the first time in a long time that I'm taking 2 events on the same day. Because I'm exclusively breastfeeding. So I have a little man that is going to bring down the roof of my house if he doesn't see me in a few hours. And because I've been sick, I've not been able to pump. So are you seeing my plenty excuse? And these excuses are valid. In fact, you start pitying me, child. And she still came. But I'm here. And I'm inexcusable. So if you want to scale, you have to wake up and tell yourself that I can't create excuses. Do we say walk yourself to death? No. There's a way my body tells me do not move. For example, if this event was yesterday, I would not have showed up. Because yesterday I was in a terrible state. But I knew that I had to show up. So yesterday, what did I do? I had to go to the hospital. They were like, drugs or injection? Would I said, no, let's do injection. Why? Because injection works faster. I will take it yesterday. I will take this morning. And then I know that when I show up, before I will break down again, it's evening. I will be home. I had to do my mathematics, but that's the reality. So you want to scale, but you have 1,001 excuses why you won't show up at your office, why you won't show up at your shop. Somebody gives you a job, especially our dear tell us, I would have, it's not like that day. That's why you need to be prepared to scale. You don't have to do it yourself. If you want to make more money, you have to pay more people. So for you to pay more people, it means what? You need to have gone through that phase, learned the phase, so that when you bring them on board, all you need to do is, it's a walk in the park. Now, it's not like it's easy anyways. We have staff issues. I think that's Mr. Jack's office to talk about. But you must be willing to give more. You need to go back. For example, at some point, I knew I was leading a team and I was managing human resources, and people were driving me crazy. I had to go back to Uniport. That master's I say I will not do. You know, when you're graduating, you say, even signboard. I'm not going to read again. I was one of those. I said, signboard? I will not read signboard. You know how it's on the day you're signing out, say, I'm not reading anything. I had to go back to school to do human resources and personnel management. Why? Because at some point I was feeling I was the problem. I said, am I too strict? What's happening? Is it that I'm not leading my team well? Why does it look like we have people who will come today, they are going to, what's happening? I had to go back to read book. And that means I was ready to scale. After that course, I knew that, okay, I'm not the best person for this thing. So immediately I was done with my program, I had to employ a human resource manager to take up that phase of the business. And I focused on my strength, which is operations. So you cannot be everywhere if you want to scale. Currently, myself and my husband, we are the head of marketing and sales. That's like, in real estate, I'll tell you, sales is the blood of the body of the business. If sales is not happening, you will crumble. Because how do you want to pay salaries? How do you want to run? My office operations cost, if I tell you my OPEX in a month, it's only generator. In fact, I saw a report 1 month and our fuel consumption was over 2-point-something million. I said, do we want to open a filling station or what is happening? We had to sit down and think. I said, okay, we're going to stop using fuel for generator. Let's try diesel. And that's one of the best decisions we made. But if I was not looking at my books, we would probably not have found out that was a problem. You think the generator is small, I'm buying fuel for 5K, 10K. It's small money. Diesel, I might buy diesel 500,000 in a month. But I see that once we buy it, it can take us for 5 weeks, 6 weeks. So nobody is coming to knock. I'm not receiving any mail. Fuel has finished. Your clients are in the office. There's no fuel. No, we have diesel that once you walk into Velox office, there's light, there's AC, everywhere is chilling. Now we are more packaged. So when you come, if I tell you this property is 10 million, okay. This place looks like 10 million. Do you understand? You have to scale. There was a time that my former office was fine for an average real estate company. But it got to the type of transactions that we're doing that when people come, first of all, this is me. I know we rent for house. I'm like this. I'm not small in Jesus' name, but this is me. And my husband is also a young man. There are clients who walk in. So that brings me to perception marketing. When you want to scale, you have to be intentional about the perception people have about you. All those, I don't care. Whatever they say about me is not my business. It's your business, so. It is your business. If I walked into this place, like I had every reason this morning to just, probably I would have just, in fact, I asked them in the car, I was wearing a sneakers. I said, if I wear this sneakers shop, like that's how I felt internally. But when I was coming, I said, people should give me heel. Let me wear. Let me look like myself. Do you get perception? We're in an industry or you're in a generation where people judge you before you talk. Yes. Is it that you're big English? People have sized you up. They have measured you. They have calculated who you are before you say a word. So whether you like it or not, and I tell this to my staff, I say, when you show up to the office, you show up correct. You can't be going to bid for a deal of 10 million or 500 million and you are working there. I can't go and bid a deal of 100 million as I'm like this. I will not. I will sit down. I'll bring my makeup artist. They will do my makeup. I have perfumes for different occasions. Yes. It's perception. You have to show up correct. You don't want somebody wants to give you 10 million and you are showing up wearing jeans that is slit left and right with slippers. It's okay. We're not saying live fake life, but we are saying perception is important. You have to show up. Like, have you seen people who show up? We're not saying fake it until you make it. At your level, what you can afford, but please show up clean. You can't say you want to scale. You're going to bid for bigger jobs. I'm going to give an example. Please, off camera. I had a deal with one of the multinationals, and then I knew that I was going to bid for that project. I'm going to be sincere. That was in 2020. I was not this fat, though. Like, imagine me not this fat. Just sometimes you need to allow your results speak ahead of you if you want to scale. If you feel like people are already doubting your abilities, let your work prove your worth. You cannot say you want to scale and you're doing shabby deliveries. Let's assume you're a videographer and your video editing. You know it's not good, you in your mind. And you're not willing to take a step to go and scale up, go for another class. And you say, oh, this is my business. I want people to be paying me 200,000, 500,000 pounds. It's not by mouth. It's not by prayer and fasting. When you pray and fast, you need to put in the work. I have a photographer I've been using for the last 5 years. It will take the grace of God for you to convince me not to use him. It will take the grace of God. He shot my wedding. He was part of my wedding. Even if I'm bringing another photographer, somehow I have to put him there. My baby's birthday, my maternity photo. In fact, any of my picture, this picture he takes almost all my pictures. We have a shoot tomorrow. Why? They are things he has grown. When I knew him, it's not the same thing he's doing currently. His price is not. I have some of my mentees that their prices may be lower, but I know that if I call thank God on a Sunday, thank God, I'm busy. It's only Sunday I have time, but I want to do this shoot. Thank God will show up. If thank God does not show up, thank God has a member of his staff that will show up. And when they deliver that job, it will be like this is thank God's job. You will not have a second opinion that why this edit is not. It's a standard. So whether it is him or a staff, the standard remains the same. So for you to scale, you need to understand that you must plan for structure and standards in your business. If you go to Velox when Beauty or Mr. Nwakanma is not around, it is the same Velox experience you will get, whether I'm there or not. In fact, they might even do better when I'm not there because they don't know if I've sent a spy. So, you cannot have two levels of deliveries. You cannot be delivering A to a certain person and delivering B. No. If you want to grow, you want to scale, the standard should be the standard. Your price tag should be your price tag. For service provider, yes, there are times that things that you may want to review, you may want to update, but there should be a standard. And if you want to scale, you need to understand that, yes, as much as they say take up opportunities that come, it's not every opportunity that is for you. Some might be painful, but you have to let it go. Because it might make you, or it might marry you. If you check the options and it seems like the chances of it marrying you is higher, please take a step back. If you're not ready for it, don't go all held in. So there's many businesses would stay small, not because they lack potential, but because they fear expansion. Now, that's the reality a lot of us have. And it's okay. It's okay to be afraid. It's okay to fear. I think I have that fear. Currently, we'll be moving to Abuja in a few weeks from now. We've been on the Abuja office setup for the last 1 year. And sometimes I sit and ask myself, are we ready for this market? What are we going to be doing differently? We've been researching. That office rent was paid a year ago. We're renewing the rent next month. We haven't started using it. We have been doing interior setting up. The Abuja market is not Port Harcourt market. So you cannot just jump in and say, oh, because I've been doing well in Port Harcourt. The river is big. You'll be swallowed. So we know this, and I'm planning. We're discussing. I'm saying, okay, if we're doing this, if Velox is opening, what kind of staff are we employing? When people walk into our office, how do we want them to feel? What perception do we want them to have? You're going to a city where it is creme de la creme. You want to show up with slippers. Your marketers no, you will come correct. So have I had that fear? Yes. So you want to expand and you're scared, it's okay. You have the potential, but you're scared, it's fine. But you need to understand that fear is okay. It's not strange. It doesn't mean that you're incompetent. It just means that for me to be scared, there's something I haven't gotten that I need to take time to figure out. So sit back, sit on your fear. Take your time. Research. Ask yourself, okay, what am I scared of? What are the possibilities that is bringing this fear? And if you dig deep, you'll see there's no fear that comes from the sky. How do I put it? Or they'll say, okay, there's no fire without fuel. So that fear, there's something that is firing it up. There's something that is pushing it up. So you need to sit down to ask yourself, okay, why am I just scared because I feel like being scared? No. There are things, probably you're asking yourself, okay, if I go in, what are the chances that my business will thrive here? Then those are the real questions you need to begin to ask yourself. And then ask yourself, okay, I am scared because of this. What can I do to deal with this part of the fear? So, the truth is, you need to understand that there's a lot when it comes to scaling. If we want to talk about business scaling on a business level, so if you see what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to bring it to the reality of us, especially because this is the church. And sometimes we feel like we should always be, I'm a Christian, or there are some risks. And what if I go? What if I fail? What if you succeed? I tell my staff, I said, there are only 3 answers you can get in life. Yes, no, maybe. Usually we'll say it's either a yes or no. I usually like to put maybe on my clause. Why? I can try and fail today and I try tomorrow, and that's the maybe. Maybe means try again. Maybe means come back later. Maybe means come in 5 years. Maybe means try again in 2 years. Maybe means, okay, maybe I didn't appear properly today. I will go. I'll reschedule the meeting. I'll try again. Maybe it means my presentation slide was not good enough. I will go back, redesign the presentation. If it means having to get a friend who is a designer to rework it, I go again. Maybe it means I didn't have enough knowledge about the industry, but I think I can do it. I want to go back, study, research, take professional courses, take classes, and try again. You cannot scale if you want to let fear win. But are we saying fear will not be there? It's going to be there. Anybody who has scaled and told you there wasn't a time they were afraid, that person will probably be lying. There's been a lot of times where I would sit down and say, are you sure we can do this? When Velox started, we were doing 100 plots, 200 plots, 300 plots. Currently, we have a particular estate that from the beginning to the end is about 4,000 plots. And inside that 4,000 plots, we have this estate. We have like 4 estates inside the one estate. And we have not finished selling that. If someone had told us in 2021 that we'll be able to do 4,000, you go to a community and negotiate for, the mind that you need to have. Do you understand? But we would not have started in 2021 and go and negotiate for 4,000. The more you grow, the more you understand, okay, what were the fears? Part of it is when we started in 2021, we started on an almost zero capital. And then I want to use 10 million to go and negotiate for 4,000 plots. Or you want to even use 500 million. You can't. So you need to scale up to a point where you can now take up bigger challenges, bigger deals. So when it comes to scaling, you must understand that it's a process. You will go from phase 1 to 2. You don't just see that Pastor Victor is here, this is St. Life Church. Pastor Victor can do it. In fact, you rent the next building. Say, please, we're starting a new branch here, and I am capable. Ask Pastor Victor to tell you the battles that comes with. So there is no industry, whether the church, whether outside, whether the business world, that comes free of challenges. So sometimes before you go all held in, you might want to, that's why people say research. These days, the world has made it easy where you can just pick up your phone and ask. There are some questions you will even ask ChatGPT, say, he will even give you an example of Nigerians that are seeing that shege and tell you, no go. But are we saying do not dare challenges? I have failed. I have done things that I felt like, I shouldn't have done it. But sometimes, yesterday I said something, we're having a family meeting. So because our business is a blend of family business, so it's me and my husband. And sometimes we have business meeting inside the family meeting. So we're having one of those business family meetings. And he said something, he said, if we go back to 2021 and start again, that where we are now in 4 years, we'll be there in 1 year and 6 months. And I was like, why? And he said, but that's the truth. The lessons we have learned in 4 years, there are places that we will avoid. There are decisions that we will not make. There are business partners we will not bring close. There are staffs that we let go that we probably would have kept. There are people that we kept that we probably would have let go. So all these 4 years experience, give it to me again. My speed. But is it like that? It doesn't come on a platter. So sometimes when you want to sit down and cry over spilled milk, you need to also ask yourself this is how far I've come in 2 years. Did I get all the resources I needed? No. But I am here. Which means that if I can learn from the lessons of 4 years, it means that what I would achieve in 6 years will probably be where I should be in 8 years. So experience sometimes brings speed. So when you want to scale, you must understand that there are sacrifices, like the sacrifice now that I'm making, standing here. the reality is there's no business, there's no industry, there's no skill, there's a walk in the park. These days, you see a lot of young people say, oh, everybody is going to tech. It's okay. But the challenge is, can you work? You want a job in Canada, is fine. But can you work 8 hours in Calgary? Calgary was 8 hours behind, Abi's ahead. And I had to be working. In fact, that 4 months, I posted something yesterday. I said it was one of the hardest 4 months of my life. Because when people in Canada were sleeping, I had to be awake to work with my team in Nigeria. 8 hours. So 8 p.m. here was like, I think 1. It was hard. It was hard, and I was pregnant. Sometimes I ask myself, I say, if I just sleep and do attend this meeting, what will happen? Like, what's the worst that will happen? Nobody will query me, and I'm the boss here. But I had to show up over and over again because that was a transition period. In fact, in the midst of that season, we launched a new property while we were in Canada, and that property is one of our best-selling currently. And one of those meetings, it was midnight, 2 a.m. Till 7 a.m., I was awake. We're doing meeting. You want to scale. You want to get a tech job. They'll pay you $4,000 per month. Can you work against the Nigerian clock? You have to prepare your mind for it. You won't. It's in Nigeria. All this one, we sit in the office and you're sitting morning till night. There are places you work abroad. Your shift is 12 hours. You are standing morning till night. Ask your friends. Your shift is 6 hours. You cannot sit down during your shift, especially if you're working in places that is not white collar, which is what the average Nigerians who travel get in the first 1 to 2 years. And you're saying, no, I want bigger challenges. Are you ready for it? You want more money. You want to be able to get a job that's going to pay you 2 million naira. Are you ready? For example, we had a meeting. In fact, in the last 2 weeks, my team, they've been on hot seat. We'll stay in the office till like 6, 7 o'clock. Yesterday, I had to say, please, I have a child at home. I need to go. And we're doing meetings upon meetings because we're entering a new quarter. We have to look at all the things that we've done in last quarter, review it. Other staff members who are not management staff are going home. But management staff, you stay. We have to say we're in a state of an emergency right now in the office. Everybody that is a management decision maker is a state of an emergency, you will stay. So you can't be complaining that somebody in your office is earning, this person, they pay them 400,000, 500,000. They'll just pay me 80K. Can you make the sacrifices that person is making? Can you take up the roles, the jobs, the decisions that person is taking? So you need to grow and prepare. So even if you're a young person, you're looking for a job, you have to show up correct. For example, I had some new people who resumed with me last month. And one of them, it's not eye service, but everybody on the team already knows that this one is staying. You know, there are people, you have to show up. She showed up, nothing special. In fact, her job title is, I'm not going to call it, but her job title is basic. But she has been doing her job over and over. Sometimes I say, she's doing her job. She's not doing someone else's job. And I'm telling you, I say, you know that this person is already on their way out. She's not trying to take their job, but she's just showing that I can do more. We're already, in fact, by next week, the person will be announced as a team lead for the team that came with her. And you're asking, why are they always keeping me at the back? You're not showing up. So scaling up is not just for business. Your career, if you want to scale up, you want to get to the peak of career, you have to make those hard decisions. You're not taking new courses. You're not going back to school. Every day you just sit down, you go to work. Your free time, you're on social media. I'm not saying social media is bad, though. I'm always on social media. I'm posting. But there are times that you have to live. There are seasons that you have to call them fasting seasons. Shut down. Yeah. Take a step. Develop yourself. Go back to the drawing board. When you come, like I tell myself, I say, I don't have an issue with you coming to bid for salary increase, but come correct. Tell me, I have done this, I have done this. That's what most young people don't do. In the last 1 month, I did this for the company, I did this for the company. So if you've done that, if you work in any business, there's no how you're going to show up to your boss with results, and they won't look at you a second time. There are staff members that nobody wants to lose. Are you that person? Are you that person? There are phases of my business. I was telling somebody that my housekeeper is not around. She traveled. A few weeks ago, I was ginger. I was like, you will go. You are stressing me. You will go. But yesterday and today that she's not around, I can't wait for her to come back. Let me give her a big hug. Yes, because sometimes you don't even know the full value of people until they are far away from you. And I'm like, I know that this girl has been doing an amazing thing. But sometimes I'll be like, I can do it now. What are you doing in this house that I have not done before? Now, the time I used to do that, I had one baby. Now there are two. I have to be at the office. I have to be here. I have another event from here. How now? What will I do? I'll carry all of them on my head. Imagine that we had Eliana here. I can't even be here because Eliana will take this mic from you. She will come and collect this mic from my hand and start singing for you people. So you need help. You need people. For you to scale, that's what I'm going to end with. You can't do without people. I beg, people should leave me. I'm good on my own. One-man squad. You will die young. This church, Pastor Victor cannot run the church alone. I can't run my home alone. There are people who maybe on a smaller scale say, okay, I just want to get married, take care of my children. I don't want anybody around me, no security. There are days when I come back and I have to open my gate myself. Like, I feel a certain kind of pain because I'm like, I just need to be in this car. Like yesterday I was saying, there was no housekeeper. It was just me, my husband, my mom. And I was like, if these people were here now, as I come back from work, my food will be ready. I will just eat, go upstairs, sleep. I know that everything will be fine. But I have to do it myself. So you need people. And see how late I came here. It was the result of doing that work. Because if I didn't, I would have slept early. I would not have bothered waking up later in the night. I would have had a lot of time. I wake up early this morning. I'm not checking what the children will do. I would just say, do this. Maybe I'll bathe. It makes my life easier. So for you to scale, you can't do without people. People in terms of the staff. People in terms of maybe business partners. Probably my husband was doing Velox alone. I don't know if Velox would have gotten to where it is. Or maybe if I was doing it alone. I don't know if so sometimes it's not like we say all business must be partnership, but sometimes you don't know what God has kept. And sometimes we look at it and I'm doing my own part. And he says, but you know that this one is your side. Maybe I'm doing an employment review, like HRA assistant, and I'm showing you, I say, please, sir, can you help me check for, he said, I beg, this one is not my work. Do your work. Sure, you are collecting salary. And sometimes I want to get angry, but I just tell myself, it's my job. If Velox pays me salary now, I will do my work. So you need people sometimes in between. People from the top to bottom. So your security, your cleaner, your janitors, all of these people are important to your success if you want to scale. Especially as an entrepreneur. It might seem like it's easy for you. Oh God, but right now, some days are hard. I think that was what I started with. So I want to be able to do everything. I posted something. I said, some of us, we find fulfillment in work. My escape is work. So sometimes when I'm supposed to be at home, I'm working. The only reason I can do that is because I have help. Both from family, I like help. If you want, please come. My mother, come. My sister, help me. I can't say no. Because some of us, we want to do everything ourselves. You want to show that you're a superman, you're a superwoman in your business. You want to be everywhere. The truth is, you think you're going to be everywhere. But in broad daylight, they will still do what they want to do and you won't know. So why don't you rather build the structure and the systems that even when things go wrong, you can pick it without having to be there. I can pick up my phone. I know everything that's happening in my house. Why? There's CCTV everywhere. I don't need to be at home. I'll go and peep, what's happening in the kitchen? Have they washed this thing? No. I knew at some point it was a necessity. I can travel. And I'll call sometimes my people will be like, I'm not in the car. When I said, who is opening that backyard gate? I said, how did you know that? I said, I know they opened the gate. Systems, structure. Reporting system in your business. You might think it's small, but start reporting. Hold yourself first accountable before you hold another person. You can't say you want to scale and CEO, 1 million enters your account. You cannot account for it. You're buying a new wig. It's not bad. You're buying a new shoe. You spend like 500K first. After I've been building I've suffered in this business. So I know it's okay to repay. But I think for the last 4 years, one of the things we've been doing is, oh my goodness. One of the things we've been doing is going in and in. As you're making the money, you're putting it back in the business. If you want to scale, those years of sacrifices cannot be outsourced. I started with that and I'm going to end with that. And what that means is that they are part of your business. Even if you get money from somewhere to put in, the truth is money will not be your own. It's harder to manage. Because you're going to always feel like it came on a platter. But you have to be willing. If you cannot manage your funds and your resources, you cannot manage another person's own. So whether it's a loan, whether it's a grant, understand that scaling up in business means that you cannot outsource your growth. Thank you.